What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and Black Ops 7 just keeps getting better. Even though we're waiting on brand new details and hopefully a pinch of extra marketing for the launch of the game, we ended up getting some overwhelmingly positive updates about the DLC season. Definitely stay tuned. Now, today is October 25th, officially the 1-year anniversary since the launch of Black Ops 6, which I can't believe flew by this fast, but even though the haunting is pretty much coming to an end as all the promised content is now released, we still have another like 2.5 weeks of the game cycle, technically, but for the most part, as far as new content, it's just about over. But something else that also happened on this day back in 2012 was the release of the Nuketown 2025 trailer. This was the second iteration of Nuketown, and the map was actually a pre-order bonus for BO2. I don't remember if they ended up adding this map in for free at some point later, or if you're able to buy the map separately from like the PSN store or the Xbox Marketplace, but they're actually remastering this map better than ever for Black Ops 7. I know this sparked up a little bit of controversy since with the back-to-back Black Ops games, we're also getting back-to-back Nuketown remasters. We had the BO1 Nuketown added for BO6, and now the BO2 version coming to BO7. It's been officially confirmed that we're getting Nuketown 2025 on November the 20th, less than a week after the game comes out. So I'd expect about a day before that, or the day of release, we'll end up getting a dedicated gameplay trailer breaking down the brand new beautiful remaster. Now, a couple of days ago, Treyarch released a dev talk talking about Season 1 for BO7, which caught us by surprise since the game's not even out yet. If you want to check out that video where I go over all the details about multiplayer, zombies, even the weaponry, that's going to be linked down below. But as of now, the current Battle Pass timer for Season 6 of Black Ops 6 does end December the 4th, so that should be the start of our first season for BO7, but of course that date is subject to change, there could be delays. I'll keep you guys in the loop once we learn more information about when exactly the content is going to release. Now, you guys may have noticed that during the COD Next broadcast, and especially that recent dev talk from Treyarch talking about Season 1, not much, if anything at all, was really said about Warzone, right? We know about the Season 1 update with Haven's Hollow, the brand new Resurgence map. It's an expansion of Liberty Falls. We also know about 2 POI updates in Verdansk, which aren't anything too crazy. There's no wall running coming to Warzone yet, which is also strange. We know about some creative class changes, the weapon integration, but other than that, there's a lot of questions with what the future of Warzone actually is. And just yesterday evening, after posting my recent video talking about the Little Caesars promo, Raven ended up dropping a bit of a road to Season 1 and a full breakdown of what we could expect, a lot of which wasn't actually mentioned at COD Next either. Now, Raven first confirmed that Warzone is set to get limited time modes later this year that will have experimental features to test out, like grapple hooks and even a wall jump. So this is something that I'm really interested in because they're not just going to throw this in as fundamental gameplay right off rip with the Season 1 integration to where they end up deciding later, hey, are we going to keep these features in LTMs, or are we going to bring it to the regular playlist of Battle Royale, Resurgence, even ranked play? But I'm sure they also intend to do experimental playlists in 2026 as well. They're not just going to be the end of this year. But hearing about a grapple hook makes me real excited, considering that a grapple hook is going to be in the endgame campaign expansion. You're going to be able to use one in the regular co-op campaign as well. It's not quite coming to multiplayer, but with the fact that Blackout's coming back in spring 2026, which we'll circle back to in a few minutes, it just makes sense to test the waters with the grapple hook over in the Warzone experience. But something that I did not expect to hear so soon, which I thought was going to get confirmed for, let's say, Modern Warfare 4, if that game does a big new Warzone integration, is the idea of Battle Royale map rotations. This is something that Modern Warfare 2 and 3 already showed us a glimpse of, to where you had a little BR rotation between Al Mazrah and then Vandal, and then between Urzikstan and Vandal, you had Resurgence rotations of Fortune's Keep, Vandal, even Ashika. We've seen rotations before. They even had specific POIs from Urzikstan become their own Resurgence maps, which also ended up rotating with Rebirth every now and again. So we've seen different playlists that have rotating maps before. We've just never seen it to where 2 really big BR maps are rotated amongst one another. Vandal, of course, supported both Resurgence and Battle Royale, so that's kind of how they made an exception there for a BR rotation. Now, unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to know why we couldn't get a map rotation much sooner. This could have helped out a lot with how dry the Black Ops 6 Warzone lifecycle was. But they specifically said here, while it wasn't previously realistic for us to host multiple large maps, we've since taken the steps necessary to support it. This won't be a launch feature in Black Ops 7, but it's a key addition slated for early next year. They also mentioned they're going to increase how often they do updates and how often that they surface new features to us. The goal is to balance everything, keep things moving forward without forgetting about seasonal support and quality of life improvements. You guys are probably wondering what maps they're going to end up rotating, because yes, I get it, Al Mazrah was a great map during Modern Warfare 2 Warzone. People's issues with Warzone at the time had little to do with the actual map and more to do with the fundamental gameplay, the systems, the UI, and a bunch of other issues on a laundry list, but the map itself was always pretty well received. Are they going to bring that one back? Honestly, I doubt it. I think there was a leak a couple of months ago from one of the usual data miners claiming that Fortune's Keep and Vandal are both meant to return. Now, I could also see Urzikstan possibly getting thrown back into the mix because there's already Omni movement support for that map. So could they bring that back? Is that a map that's more likely to return? Maybe, but as far as big BR maps do go, I think that's also a reference to the fact that Avalon will be a big Battle Royale map for Blackout while Verdansk is still live simultaneously. Now, what's crazy is that Raven then followed up by saying that not only are we getting a map rotation for Battle Royale, but we're also going to be seeing map rotations for Resurgence, and this will be shortly after launch. So it looks like the Resurgence rotation is coming first, probably with Season 1, likely before the end of 2025, and as they confirmed, this rotation will be between Rebirth Island and Haven's Hollow. They're also exploring opportunities to bring back past maps in future seasons. An improved version of Fortune's Keep is underway as we speak, and as they said, our goal is to ensure that each map has room to shine without sidelining the ones that you love most. Probably a reference to the crisis that happened last year where Area 99 came out, which I was actually a big fan of, but then because Rebirth got vaulted for a little while, people just didn't warm up to the map the way they probably would have if Rebirth hadn't been removed. So I guess to avoid that this year, what they're likely going to do is say, hey, for 1 week or maybe 2 at most, Haven's Hollow will be the only Resurgence map playable, and then Rebirth will just come right back in and will rotate with Haven's Hollow for the foreseeable future. Now, I've always loved Fortune's Keep, especially since its inception during Vanguard, but I know a lot of folks are wondering if they're going to bring back the big crater or crack in the middle of the map. Maybe they won't. I also love the inclusion of zombies within Fortune's Keep. There was a ray gun, a wonder waff, a zombie exclusive contract, and there were some phenomenal Easter eggs that I hope to see return with refresh rewards, whether it's a new camo, a blueprint. The map itself honestly set the gold standard for how to launch a new Warzone map with a bunch of quests available day one. And with Black Ops 7 promising to include a lot more rewards, better seasonal events, more camo unlocks, no doubt in my mind that Warzone players are going to be eating this year. But with the leak about Vandal coming back, I think it's clearly possible that they could just rotate that with Battle Royale on Verdansk and then eventually Avalon through Blackout. Or they could also have Vandal Resurgence rotate with Rebirth, Haven's Hollow, then Fortune's Keep. There's so many great maps in the Warzone catalog, so I think it's going to be great to really spice things up and just keep multiple maps live at once so that people don't get burnt out of the same experience over and over again. But it gets even better, folks, as they confirm with Season 2 of Black Ops 7, which could very easily start at the end of January, but that's something that happened for BO6, considering that game released in October. So I'm betting that Season 2 is guaranteed to probably start in February, probably close to Valentine's Day. With Season 2, we're going to be seeing a full refresh to Rebirth Island, which includes, and I quote, new POI updates, a cosmetic pass, and several other upgrades that improve flow. This could mean one of two things, honestly. I think there's that funny AI video going around which perfectly emphasizes what I mean about maybe a futuristic take on Rebirth Island, since of course Black Ops 7 is a futuristic game, but it could also be something even simpler than that, which is turning Rebirth back into Alcatraz, which we saw with the original Blackout. And hey, what better time to actually do this than right around the time when Blackout is allegedly returning, but for Battle Royale and Avalon. So how funny would this be as a big Blackout throwback to be like, hey, here's Blackout as you know and love, just on a different map with Avalon, and then here's Blackout but through Alcatraz portal quads with the down but not out mode, which is technically just Resurgence, on a familiar map that was already live in Warzone but just had a different coat of paint. Now, we're going to have to wait and see what this Rebirth refresh is going to be, but I will say I'm feeling a lot better about Warzone for Black Ops 7 than how I felt just about all year for BO6. There were some good spurts here and there of solid content, you know, some blueprint Easter eggs, the return of Verdansk, some really cool secrets and events, but for the most part, Warzone felt hollow. Now it feels like since Raven is back into the swing of just full-focused Warzone development, they did the BO6 campaign, then the BO7 one, now they can go ahead and cook things up along with, hopefully, Beanox and even High Moon. But I do understand, in a perfect world, if Season 1 of Black Ops 7 had kicked off with Avalon Blackout, maybe Season 2 could have the Alcatraz Rebirth refresh, if we would have got a big new map and possibly the return of Blackout by this December, that really would have turned things around even faster for Warzone. It's just unfortunate we have to wait a little bit longer to get the updates that everybody desperately craves. Now, something that's really interesting is that original leak about Blackout returning, which ended up getting community noted. If you want a full video talking about the return of Blackout, I'll leave my old one down below. I made this video right after COD Next a couple of weeks ago that goes a lot more in detail about what should return in Blackout and just what the legacy of that mode is, how it could translate to Warzone. When I made that video again, I looked back at that original leak from early last year, and the leak did suggest that Warzone would be sunset at some point. Blackout would be a next-gen only experience, which would be coming to Season 2 of Black Ops 7. Funny enough, everything from that leak is just about correct, except for the part that Warzone's getting sunset, which, hey, maybe it does before MW4 and we just don't know. And we're also not sure if this map rotation system or Blackout will be next-gen exclusive, but we now know that, according to this blog here, Blackout is returning in Season 2. They're calling it a Blackout experience on Avalon, but it will still exist through Warzone, whether that means manual healing, grappling hooks, character quests, zombie boss fights, mystery boxes, whether it means all of those features do come back along with attachment looting, no loadouts. We'll have to wait and see, but thankfully that's coming in Season 2 and not any later than that. The thing is, Season 2, which I'm assuming starts in February, isn't exactly spring 2026. Spring officially starts on March 20th of 2026, so could this mean that Blackout's going to be a reloaded update in March? I mean, maybe, but I'm sure they want to get this all out the door way before GTA 6 rolls around in the spring, which I think is going to obviously shake up the industry quite a bit. So Call of Duty is trying to get everything released that they probably can in a short amount of time. And they also mentioned the success of Resurgence has proven the value of taking bold but intentional risk, and they believe that Blackout 2.0 here will embody exactly that spirit. I'd also expect that you'll probably be able to play regular Warzone on Avalon at some point in the long run as well. But to round things out here, I still can't believe we're talking about Season 2 before the game is even out. They also confirmed that ranked play support is returning for both Battle Royale and Resurgence with our second season. So again, probably at some point in early to mid-February, and we can expect more ranked play camos than ever before. They also have a plan to release a really good private match tool where you can actually kick other players out from the private match before the game even begins. And this private match tool is confirmed to be releasing with Season 1. On top of that, they also teased that in the next month, we'll be seeing a full dedicated blog post and roadmap, probably a bunch of trailers, detailing a lot more with what to expect with Warzone as we head into Black Ops 7, and of course, as we pave the way for what sounds like one of the strongest years of Warzone support that we've really ever gotten. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the surprise Black Ops 7 Warzone updates, which, again, really came out of left field because they confirmed weekend-only playlist, a bunch of experimental mechanics coming into the mix, map rotations for BR and Resurgence, let alone the fact that Blackout's actually coming out sooner than we thought. Spring 2026 isn't exactly February, and I wish they could have shared some of these details back at COD Next a few weeks back, but you know what? Better late than never. I'm still shocked that we got all the info that we did. With that being said, leave our thoughts down below. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.